Good morning, class. Happy Wednesday. Today's April 15. Our learning target for today is for you to be able to compare and contrast, which means find similarities and differences between the ideas of two people. One, John Locke, and two, Thomas Hobbes. And both of these will use the ideas of the state of nature and social contract. So the first thing we'll do is review those two key ideas. After that, we'll take some notes comparing John Locke and Thomas Hobbes, and then you will have a reading with a worksheet. That worksheet is called Why Government. That worksheet is due today, 3 p.m. That worksheet is something you should be doing individually, not with anybody else. So first, to review the state of nature. Once again, the state of nature is an idea where humans are in this existence, this condition before there's government, laws, etc. It's humans on their own. So what would it look like in the state of nature? There were no laws, no government, no rules. And the key way to determine your answer to this is, do you believe that humans are naturally good, or are they naturally bad? Because if you believe humans are naturally good, that's going to give a positive picture of the state of nature, at least one that's not too bad. If you believe that humans are naturally bad, then the state of nature is going to be chaos and awful. So in order to answer what does the state of nature looks like, you need to answer whether humans naturally are good or if they are naturally bad. And I'm going to encourage you, and we'll have to do this later, to use scripture to figure out your answer to that question. Social contract is an agreement. But just to clarify this, the social contract is not actually a literal contract. This is not a piece of paper that every person needs to sign. It's just an idea, and there's different versions of this idea. Not everybody agrees that their version of the social contract looks the same as somebody else's, but it's an agreement where people will give up some of their freedom to a powerful government to avoid chaos. A really good example of this would be exactly what's happening right now in this pandemic. People are giving up their freedoms, a freedom to go inside a restaurant, a freedom to whatever things are closed down right now, in order to avoid chaos. So we're giving up that power to the government, whose job is to protect us, which is why we're giving up these freedoms. That is a living, breathing, current event example of what the social contract looks like. But once again, different people have different ideas for, one, how much freedom people should give up, and two, what the job and roles of government are to prevent this chaos. So we're going to take just a little bit of notes here, just comparing Hobbes and Locke. This will not take us long, but make sure you get your notes out and ready. Pause the video if you need to. We're going to compare two people's ideas. Thomas Hobbes is on the left. John Locke is on the right. Thomas Hobbes was born first. He was born in 1588. Don't write that down. You don't have to know that. But I would know that he was born and grew up during the English Civil War. We remember the English Civil War was a civil war that took place between the Roundheads and the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers supported King Charles I. The Roundheads supported Parliament and Oliver Cromwell. We talked about this in our last unit, so if you need to go back and review those notes, you can. Realize the English Civil War was violent, it was brutal, and that is going to affect how he thinks the social contract and state of nature are. So just keep in mind that his context affects the way he thinks. His main book, talking about the state of nature, talking about the social contract, is called the Leviathan. Leviathan is a name for like a beast, a creature, like a sea monster almost. You can find the word Leviathan in the Bible. That's what his book is called. That gives you any hint towards how he views the social contract and the state of nature. Then, less than 50 years later, John Locke is born. This is after the English Civil War, and he grows up during the Glorious Revolution. If you remember, this revolution was peaceful. It was non-violent. It was when William and Mary of Orange came over from the Netherlands to take over the English throne. They signed the English Bill of Rights from this. He is influenced by this peaceful, non-violent revolution. His main work is called the Second Treatise on Civil Government. What you are going to be doing is comparing the social contract and state of nature ideas that both of these philosophers from England have. So the worksheet that you need to do is called Why Government. What you first need to do is read a PDF handout that is attached on Google Classroom. All of the answers for this worksheet will come directly from that PDF handout. So do not use Google for any of these answers. It will give you the wrong ones. All the answers you need are directly from the reading, so that's all you need to use. This worksheet is on Google Classroom attached along with the PDF. It is a homework grade that should be finished by today, 3 p.m. If you have any questions, please ask me them as soon as possible, and I will get back to you as soon as I can to make sure that you can do this well by 3 p.m. today. Once again, I don't know, a question mark, I'm confused. Those are not acceptable answers that I will tolerate. If you don't understand something, that's okay. Don't feel bad about that. It happens. However, that doesn't mean that you can just leave it blank. Your job is to reach out to me to ask questions. Here's a glimpse of what these two things look like, the PDF and the worksheet. So here's what the worksheet looks like. It's Google Doc here. You've got Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D. Please make sure you read the questions carefully. Please make sure you answer them the best that you can. For B here, for example, you've got 10 of these. You either have to say SN, SC, or B, depending on if it describes the state of nature of the social contract or if it describes both of them. You can see comparisons about those two things all across the board here. So we're taking these two ideas and we're putting them in a specific context and comparing the ideas from two specific people. The PDF looks like this. Right, so you're reading one page, 2 pages, and that's it. These other 2 pages are what this worksheet is supposed to look like, but I don't know how to take a PDF and put it perfectly on a Google Doc. So I basically took all these answers and made them less fancy. It doesn't look as nice, but it's the same questions. We're going to answer them on this Google Doc instead of using this PDF to do so. So please make sure you get this worksheet done by today, 3 p.m. Also, on a final note, I went through your exit slips. If you had a question on that exit slip, it is answered. Check Google Classroom to see what I responded to. I thought overall you guys did a really good job of explaining the 2 ideas. I apologize for those of you who had the same question twice. That was my mistake. And I really enjoyed, only a couple people did this, which is totally fine. But some of the questions that were asked were really awesome questions. So kudos to you guys, 2 thumbs up for putting a lot of thought into that. Let me know if you have questions on this worksheet, and good luck with the work. Talk to you tomorrow.